Alright, so today we're going to be putting on our valve cover, putting in our fuel rail with our injectors, as well as our intake manifold, our two-piece. We're going to try and see if we can get that all done tonight sometime. Let's have some fun. First things first, we're gonna clean our surface off here. Then we wanna find all of our bolts to make sure we fit. I actually broke a few of them, so I will be replacing them with some odds and end bolts that I have that fit. But we should have a lot of them. And then we're gonna clean them off, get the gasket in the valve cover, and throw on some RTV in the right places, mostly in the corners here. And then we're going to sit it on top. All right, let's get our bolts in here and spray them down. Alright, now that our screws are cleaned up, let's get our botched valve cover job and put our gasket in there so we can get it sealed up and placed on there. So included with your rebuild kit from RockAuto is this gasket right here that we are going to use for our valve cover. The piece with a little bit of raised nub on there points towards the engine, and you can see the loop right here. If you have an older model with the cast in the back, the cam angle sensor, then you'll have a different look over there at the edge. Alright, now that that's seated, what we want to do is add just a dab of RTV in the corners, because those are our usual leak suspects. Just in the corners of these mounts here. Alright, let's get our valve cover on here. Boom! Shakalaka.
How many torques do these bolts get?
Them bolts get all the torques. So we torque that puppy down, and then I'm going to add the VVT oil feed line back on there. So we're doing 70 inch-pounds. Alright, so now we got that on, let's get the VVT line on. Alright, so let's get this in.
How many foot-pounds?
Inchy pounds? I don't know, actually. Okay, so we can't find the torque for these, so we're just gonna torque them to 60 inch-pounds. Inch-pounds. Let's get our injectors in and get our fuel rail on. First, we have to put our gaskets on our injectors, and included with your kit from RockAuto, our new gaskets. Okay, so let's get our injectors. I actually am going to use some injectors from an RX-7 on this build. I got some newer Fel-Pro gaskets too, but some of them broke, and I didn't know that this came with them, so we're gonna use these gaskets instead. I actually got these at the junkyard, a pretty good deal. RX-7s only actually have two, or sorry, RX-8s only have two, so you have to find two RX-8s at the junkyard and pull these from. And I flow tested them, kinda, you know, hacky job, and cleaned them out with brake clean under a pressurized line while actuating the solenoid in there, and they flow really nice. You can also check the impedance of the solenoid to really, you know, tell how good they are. But yeah, these are pretty decent, so we're gonna put our new O-rings on there and then get them on our fuel rail. Okay, so now we've got to clean up our fuel rail because it has been sitting for a little while in the car with nothing in there. You can probably see, but we've got a little bit of like grime just from being out in open air. So I'm actually gonna put a little bit of brake clean in there. It might mess up our beautifully anodized surface on our aluminum rail, but we're just gonna send it because clean and dirty looking is better than dirty looking and dirty. Okay, so the most important part of doing any injector job on a Miata is to make sure that you have these 3 spacers. If you don't have these, go online, find them, hit the forums, because you will mess something up. They just won't be torqued right, and you'll have gas leaking everywhere. Been there, done that, don't do it.
This one went a little easier than the other ones. This one kind of feels good.
Yeah, you pinched the O-ring.
Yeah. This one went super smooth. This one is okay.
Kind of want to twist it a little bit.
I see.
Alright, so we get them in. We want to seat the injectors kind of first, and then get these bolts started. And thread them in the bottom hole.
That's an Allen.
And we need an Allen key. So I think these have a torque, but I don't know it, so we're gonna go pretty tight. It's pretty tight usually works. And make sure they come down nice and even. So you want to get these almost so tight that you can like feel the tension when you're trying to wiggle the injectors. It's not like stopping it, but it's definitely tighter. So we make sure we have a good seal. Okay, so now we want to get our intake manifold cleaned up so we can piece it together with the gasket that goes between the 2 pieces and get it on here. All right, so we got this cleaned up. Let's do some brake clean on the surface and put her together. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this on here. There is a gasket that sits there, and then we plate this on. The gasket comes in your kit. I believe it is this bad boy here. Yep, beautiful. Let's get it on. So here we go. Let's seat that on. And then we'll grab this here. We just cleaned that surface up. It didn't clean up the best, but it's okay. And there we go. I broke some of the nuts on there, so I got some fancy aftermarket ones. And we're just gonna thread a few of them on to hold it while we get the rest of them on. All right, so let's get these torqued to 20 foot-pounds. So next thing we want to do is get our VVT oil feed line all the way up here to feed our solenoid. All right, so the line, I put it in here. This bolt is very special. It is a very special oil feed line. It's a banjo bolt that you will not find anywhere else but the Mazda dealership. So if you lost it, go to your dealership and ask them to figure out what this is, because nothing else will work and you will cross thread everything else you put in there and it will cause you issues for a lifetime. So don't do it, because I've already done it. Learn from me, learn. So one of the washers is supposed to go behind and one of them is supposed to go in front. So we're gonna set it up here. Washer on the back, one washer on the front. Slide it onto the post. And bada boom, bada bing. Mine may have gotten a little bit bent while it was out of the car, but that's okay. You can bend it back, but you don't want to kink it. That's when we start getting into problems. So there's a little notch here in the intake manifold that allows this to bend behind it slightly. So you just want to give it a little bit extra and it'll notch kind of in there. Mine is a little bit too bent, so we're going to try to bend it a little more. You just want to bend it until the banjo bolt up there lines up just right and you don't have too much rub on the edge of there. Okay, now we want to thread a really large banjo bolt and 2 copper washers into the feed line up top. So this is another very special bolt that is a banjo bolt that must be the right type to thread into here and feed your turbo line. Sorry, not turbo line. It must be the right type to feed your VVT system. Okay, so we're gonna torque this bolt to 30 foot-pounds and we're gonna torque this one to 15 foot-pounds. Boom, done. Yeah, I'm gonna wait to put the top on so I can get the wires in there.
Wait, where does this go? Oh, this goes to the actual.
Yeah, that goes to the top part of that. So now we can put our timing belt, not timing belt, we can put our water pump cover on. Water pump pulley. So the best way to torque this down is with the belt on it. So we're actually gonna install our belt now. So to install this belt, we need to tighten the adjustment that is on our alternator. We can use this to tension the belt. Okay, so let's see how well that belt fits for us on our power steering only setup. So the belt that I got here is the K040338 on Amazon. Let's have a look here. So now, place it over that. And we should be able to place it over our power steering pump here. Once we've gotten loose enough. Boom. There we go, belt is on.